Hi, I'm Adam DeSanctis, and welcome to MBANow. We're here at MBA's annual convention in Nashville, Tennessee, and joining me is David Howard of ServiceLink. David, thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Adam, for having me. I'm excited to be here. This has been a great event so far, and been wonderfully engaging with clients and vendors, and it's just been wonderful and insightful. So thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. And what are some of your takeaways so far at the conference?
So far, really, the takeaways for me is that despite the challenges that we're facing in the industry, there's still opportunity for a lot of optimism. And to see really the people engaged and the attendees and the enthusiasm about what we have from an opportunity going forward to serve clients better and improve our operations has certainly been nice to see. It's good to see that the event has been as well attended as it has been, just phenomenal.
Yeah, and we obviously appreciate your support. Let's talk about modernization,
Sure.
which ServiceLink is doing on that front. How do you define and approach your modernization?
So we look at modernization across the three constituents that are involved in a transaction, right? The lender, the borrower, the member, the end consumer, but then also the vendor that's involved there as well. So when we're talking about the vendor, we're talking about the end service provider who is looking at either executing a closing or an appraisal. Our approach is to look at each point of engagement there along the continuum that's been a point of manual process in the past, and providing an automation path for all of those parties to drive betterment, to serve a customer base that's got increasing expectations around digitization, a lender base that needs to introduce efficiency and effectiveness into their process, and a vendor base who wants to engage just like the rest of the world does with advanced technology and be more efficient in managing their time.
Yeah, I think you bring up some good points there too. If you're a lender or someone in the industry, when is the right time to kind of implement some of these?
Right now is actually the best time, right? I mean, if you look back at where things were in the last year and a half, the volumes were crazy, right? And everybody was doing what they could to maintain their heads above water. Now it's different. Right now, the volumes have dropped dramatically. Obviously, sensitivity to the rate environment has been a challenge, and people are looking to reduce cost. But then the expectations from an end customer, member, consumer perspective are still very high about digital engagement. So how do they do that? They couldn't do it before 18 months ago. They should do it now. And then when the market eventually does come back, we don't think it's going to come back. You can't do things the old way, right? The world is just moving on, and people are moving on. And so they have to be prepared in order to prosper whenever the next cycle is where volumes are going to increase again. The lenders that we're speaking with are looking at it with that kind of future point of view, that future vision to try and future-proof their operations, and are investing appropriately to do that.
There's always a balancing act on that. What do lenders risk by not going through this modernization effort?
Yeah, on the risk side, you have the risk of falling behind. Number one, because technology never stands still. It's never static. But then when you're competing for a limited number of opportunities, how are you going to differentiate yourself to engage with the folks who are out there who actually are looking for the services? And so if you're not engaging with them in the manner that they expect to be, it's going to be difficult for you to compete. The second point I'd make on that is lenders, rightfully so, have reduced cost in running their operations. And so what we have to be conscious of is they're changing, so when things change back, they're not going to want to invest in the exact same way they were doing it before at the exact same levels. That's not advancing or pushing things forward for them. And so they have to be able to scale their technology or scale their operations and their process and do that efficiently without necessarily bringing back the same number of manual steps and manual people and manual processes that they were executing before. So it's a question of scale and competition.
Yeah, scale and competition, that's a good point. Now let's talk appraisals, and how does that fit into ServiceLink's modernization efforts?
Really, is a key part of it. I mean, that's central to one of the businesses that's central to what we do. And really there, we're looking at creating capacity, right? There's more acceptance or coming acceptance of appraisals that are leveraging new inspection technologies that can be done either by inspectors or consumers, and we are certainly participant in that ecosystem, and then driving data-driven analysis in the creation of valuations, as well as providing that data back to the lender as well for their use in expediting, and then also doing it more efficiently and at a lower cost too. And so it's all about creating capacity, and you create capacity by automating the things that you can. And now that there's acceptance of these alternative types of valuations, we're going to see a lot more of that in the industry, and we're happy to be participating in that.
Yeah, well, ServiceLink appears to be a leader on this front, and I've enjoyed this conversation with you today. Thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you, Adam. It's been a pleasure to meet with you and speak to you all today.